Hi guys, I'm Bubba the Vulture, and it is time for more Let's Play Extreme Warfare Revenge. Wow, that's not a great note to start on, is it? Yeah, I need to just make sure that everything is working here. Wow, 38 grand. Look at how much more money we're making all the time from, yeah, well, I guess we had slightly reduced worker costs, but we also had well increased sponsorship money, so nice. We're going to chip away at this debt, and once we're above board, I'm going to feel much better about things. Um, but for right now, let's go ahead and, yeah, I mean, obviously there are tabs here I haven't even really looked at very much, like stables. You can make stables of wrestlers. We don't really have enough wrestlers to form factions at this point. Um, Same thing with tag teams. Oh, I don't have Marcos right now, do I? Oh, right, Dunn and Marcos. I forgot Marcos is part of the roster, but he's both injured and wants too much money. Dunn and Marcos. Wow, really? I guess maybe his knee injury is severely curtailing his speed. That's why it's down. Yeah. Well, anyways, let's move on. So there you go. I inadvertently hired a whole tag team. I know, and fair to point it out, but that Conrad has a tag, was part of a tag team with a guy named Blade. Go to first here. Missy Hyatt has taken over control of Supreme Wrestling Federation. So there you go. Madison has agreed to an open Jody X, Lexi Fife, XTC, cheerleader Melissa, Erica Porter. Oh, well, there you go. Johnny C, Bobby Joe Jablonski, Jasmine Victoria, Death and More, Jerichoholics Anonymous. Jujutsu, a set of videos. So who are, wait a minute. I want to take a look at something here. Supreme Wrestling Federation. I mean, Missy Hyatt has a reputation to build promotions around TNA until she hired all, well, except for Johnny C, pretty sure is a dude. But, competitive status. We're not big enough to be, FWF are not big enough to be at war with other promotions yet. Well, we are also not. Let's look at WWE right now. They are not at war with anyone. Thought NWA was also global. Well, I guess maybe they haven't declared war on each other. However that works. Well, it's too late now. I was thinking, geez, apparently Supreme Wrestling Federation was able to find sponsors. If they were able to find sponsors that make them more money than we do. Oh, SoCal Val. Grace Rocket. I want to look at I'll look at the Supreme Wrestling Federation again. I want to view their roster. It's not going to show me, broadly speaking, what kind of money they want. Yeah, I was about to say, if I remember right, Johnny C is actually a really dang talented wrestler. Um, but SoCal Val, if I'm also remembering right now, is oh, you can't get the profile here either. Fine, guys. guys. Fine. Don't give me any of the information I wanted right there. I don't care enough to really check. I'm pretty sure that they're hiring for people maybe a little bit richer than I would like to go for at this level. Again, trying to dig out of a hole of debt. I mean, I suppose I could have just started the game over again and set the production values to a more reasonable level of like none. But you know, as long as I am able to make the simulation sort of work in terms of being able to find workers and such, I wanted to sort of mess with it as little as possible and come as close to like Iron Manning this thing to see where it took us. And right now it's taking us to beautiful places like bottom of the barrel in professional wrestling land. We're 86%. We're actually, wow, 86%. We are moving up rapidly. Um, we are going to be a small promotion before you know it. And then, ha ha ha, who will have the last laugh? I believe when we move up to a small promotion, one of the big things that will happen is that we'll be able to attract larger sponsors, which will be great for our beautiful Bruce. No, but it'll be great for our bottom line. And I believe one of the other things that'll be nice is that we would be able to sign workers to written contracts. Workers that are, they're obviously still people who wouldn't consider us worthwhile, but we'll be able to, sign maybe some of the guys that we have right now. We could put them on written contracts. They might ask for a little more money to do that. But if we can get a little more work out of them and we can start doing things like tag divisions, we could start building those guys up a little more, it might be worth it. I wanna rock! Alright. Let's delete all that. Now my one great fear here will be that it turns out when we get to the end of July or August, on the 1 year anniversary of having started this simulation, they're like, hey, a year in, you are in debt. You need to leave. You're fired. Which is possible, I guess. I deleted all of that one message. Did you see? Did you see? The professor and me? Did you see? Let's look here. Oh. Some hirings and things going on. I guess it was Sunday, so it's also Fist of Rage. Jeremy Lopez and Chris Hero signed some contracts for some things. They're getting rowdy and moving some things. Again, 3 Live Crew apparently. It's just going to be a subject of the fairly recent couple of videos. Oh, looks like a big move somewhere or another in the wrestling world, a seismic shift to require this many different changes. WWE signed Rodney Mack, which is interesting because I believe they got rid of Rodney Mack somewhere earlier in this game. Ryan Wing, Ricky Morton. Wow, Ricky Morton. There's a guy that is Hardcore Homo Angel is going to be on ROH time. Maybe I'm forgetting, but I feel like Ricky Morton is a very old wrestler. Maybe he signed on to be a manager, or maybe I'm not thinking of the right guy. Jet Taylor. NWA have signed Jeff Hardy to a written contract. Chris Hamrick. Victoria has signed an open agreement. Farouk. Oh, man. Farouk, real name Ron Simmons, was he was a big deal. I mean, he ended up being kind of a one-line sort of punchline gimmick guy in the WWE, but he was a big champion in WCW. And when he first showed up, Joni Lauer, who is China. Boy, there's somebody whose life has turned out to be somewhat different. She's in the adult film industry now. Wait a minute. Farouk agreed to an open contract with NWAW. And then a written contract with FLI. Now, the big boss man is going to work for them in an open contract. Scoot Andrews decided to work for Insane Dragon Dixie. Vic Capri, Tony Jones, Chris Hero. Chris Hero's bouncing around a lot, apparently. Okay, next day, please. Next slide, please. Next slide. Naked Midian, as opposed to any of the other Midians. Yeah, Midian actually is part of the same group. Midian had an Farouk ended up in a tag team in the WWE. When he first started out, he was in the WWE. He was leading. Well, no, I guess he had that. He briefly had the modern day gladiator angle, in which he was led out by Sonny, but sort of there was a while there where he led a faction. ROH signed David Flair to a written contract. Nation of Domination. They're sort of this like Black Power sort of overtones kind of group, but their main target was Ahmed Johnson, an African American gentleman. So maybe was slightly confused or confusing. Nation of Domination, now known as much as anything for really sort of that's where The Rock started to come into his own as a member of the Nation of Domination, and basically in the process through which he ended up taking over the Nation of Domination from Farouk. The sort of what is generally considered the first instance of him doing the people's eyebrow was him giving basically he did the exaggerated eyebrow gesture that you'll often see him do now, as a high sign for the rest of the Nation of Domination to betray and attack Farouk. Let's look at event history here. These guys put on a good match. These guys put on a good match. I feel like Dunn and Steve Stone put on a good match, but nobody cared. I don't know. It's hard to tell sometimes. Trent Baker and Palm Beach Boy John definitely not get off the ground very well. Akimon's in rehab. ABJ, he's in great morale. So Law's feeling pretty good. Dunn feeling probably slightly better because he got to wrestle last week. Marcos, you have a knee injury. I don't need to care about your morale. So Steve Stone and Dunn still not feeling super great. But you guys had matches last week, so can't be expected to just sort of sit there and babysit you constantly. Now then, who can we put in a match against Anthony Bartlett Jr.? Who can we feed to Anthony Bartlett Jr.? Because that's probably what's going to happen. Feed him more. Feed him more. Feed him more. Huh. Could let Dunn wrestle him. Was it Little Nate? I can't even remember who I had him wrestling. No, it was Majik he wrestled last week, wasn't it? And that did put him over some. And Trent Baker, a nice all-around heel. He's a nice all-around bad guy. Let me just double check for sure that it wasn't Lil Nate versus Anthony Bartlett. Back, yeah. It was Majik. Alright, so I got those things to look at. Sorry, folks. There. So yeah, let's have Little Nate and Anthony, have his big match with Anthony Bartlett. That'll be good. Good times to be had by all boys and girls. So let's book a match, one-on-one, between Mr. Bartlett and Mr. Nate, also known as Anthony and Lil. The result will once again be a win for Anthony Bartlett Jr. Anthony Bartlett Jr. will get... Actually, no, hang on. I know, folks, I keep on second guessing myself. He is 31 over, so it is fairly unlikely that Anthony Bartlett would agree to lose here. But I'm willing to give it a shot. Let's see. 1-versus-1 singles. Because I do kind of like the idea that Anthony Bartlett Jr. starts maybe losing his touch a little bit. Select finish. Little Nate. Little Nate by DQ. Select the aftermath. Anthony Bartlett Jr. This time he doesn't even attack the referee, he just starts spazzing out. Because Akimon, even though he's not even there, is starting to get to his head. Let's put on a good match. Come on, guys, let's put on a good match. Let's all get together and do it. So Axel Law didn't wrestle last week. Maybe we should put Axel Law in a nice match against one of our lower level fast guys like Steve Stone. Axel Law and Steve Stone could put on a good match, couldn't they? Yeah, let's go ahead and let's make Axel Law versus Steve Stone our first match this week. 1-versus-1 single match. Axel Law and Steve Stone. Select title, none. We're going to give this one to Axel Law. He's the bad guy, but he's going to win it. He's going to win it clean. There's not going to be anything crazy going on. And, yeah. Sometimes I feel like we put a little bit too, I'm putting a little bit too much thought and effort into the little trappings around the matches, even though I don't know that those necessarily have that much of a lasting effect on the simulation. Other than occasionally they can be triggers for things like, I don't want to take a sick bump in this match, or, whatever. Let's keep looking here. Soul Nate's got a match. What about putting Trent Baker in some? Well, no, we just put Trent Baker in something last week, didn't we? Jeremy V. Jeremy V and Jarrell Clark, I feel like, have a lot of matches together. And maybe with good reason. They're both pretty good wrestlers. What about putting... Hmm. Dunn. Yeah, let's have Dunn have a match with... Dunn could have a pretty good match with Jeremy V, I feel like. And who else are we going to throw into combinations here? Steve Stone already has a match with Palm Beach Boy John. I don't feel like rebooking that, so that's going to stand. What is your technical score like? Oh, it's not very good. You guys are really... El Majito and Palm Beach Boy John are kind of diametrically opposed here. I think I've got a lot of sort of random high flyer dudes that could probably get put up against each other. And yet, man, all of my heels are good brawlers, and all my faces are good high flyers. I have some guys that are skilled at both. Trent Baker is actually a really high quality guy. He's not very good on the mic, which might make it difficult to build him up really well. Let's put he's Trent Baker. Let's put Trent Baker in a match this week because I like the way this guy looks. Trent Baker. Let's put him up against. We were thinking about putting Jeremy V in a match. Let's put Trent Baker in a match. Yeah, Trent Baker versus Jeremy V. Or Jeremy the Fifth. Hard to say. Did you all just say it aloud at home? Jeremy the Fifth. It's not so hard to say. Well, maybe you're right. Winner is Trent Baker. That'll help pull him up a little. He cheats. There is no aftermath. Well, no. Let's have him run away because he's a little dillweed. I don't think running away is good for my character. No, you're right. Trent Baker is supposed to run away. And this is to build up a good match. Or put on a good match. I must be getting tired, folks. I'm making these minor booking errors in the menu fields here. Palm Beach Boy John is not getting that over. Axel Law. Dunn kind of has to wrestle, doesn't he? I mean, he doesn't have to. But it'd be nice. Dunn and Palm Beach Boy John. Neither of them are great, but they're both okay. And yeah, actually, which one is more needing of, let's see, over 37, 23. Let's give this match to Palm Beach Boy John. Match, it's a one-on-one match. Singles, it's going to be Palm Beach Boy John versus Dunn. There is no title on the line. The big winner will be Palm Beach Boy John. It'll be Palm Beach Boy John does this cleanly. And then they fight to the back. Because they're not nice guys. This is to put on a good match, though. That's the point. There we go. Once again, have Anthony Bartlett Jr. go off on his weekly rant about Akimon. Not weekly. Wait a second. Oh, right. The participant is Anthony Bartlett Jr. The target is Akimon. Why does that keep confusing me? He's going to continue this feud. There you go. Now, are Axel Law or Steve Stone any good? I don't think either one is. Charisma. Actually, Axel Law has decent charisma. Maybe I should have him, Axel Law, do an interview in which he disses Steve Stone. And that'll set up this match. It's going to be great. Nope. Keep doing that, I get ahead of myself. Target is going to be Steve Stone. There we go. And that is to hype the match that they're having tonight. In this very ring. Now, Trent Baker and Jeremy V, if I remember correctly, neither of them are particularly charismatic. Yeah. So, how's Dunn for charisma? He has slightly better charisma than the next guy. Little Nate has pretty bad charisma. Well, no, it's not terrible. Tell you what. Dunn, PBBJ, they're all going to have chances to talk. Single worker, it's going to be Dunn. He is going to target Palm Beach Boy John to hype their upcoming match. Then we are going to have John do the same thing. He's going to say, "Dear John, if you don't come back soon, I'll be gone." Nope. Palm Beach Boy John, please. The target is Dunn. The purpose is to hype their match. That was about to start, like the bell's about to ring right then. Alright, let's have an interview here with Lil Nate. And his target will be Anthony Bartlett to hype the match that they're about to have. There we go. Let's go ahead and give this a whirl, shall we? I wish to start this show. I wish to. Axel Law's backstage. He's out there to hype a match. Yeah, it's a below average segment, although Anthony Bartlett Jr. has the ability to hold a crowd in the palm of his hand. A crowd of a few dozen people. They put on a pretty good match. Axel Law and Steve Stone there, and nobody cared, so got us below average rating. It's not going to be our best pay-per-view, but I feel like I'm giving these guys a little bit of experience. And we're putting on some good matches, but the crowd's not into them yet. Well, I feel like it's a learning experience. Palm Beach Boy John, not a bad interview there. Palm Beach Boy John, Let's see how your match is. Your match is not that great, but the crowd was a little more into it, so while still below average. Little Nate's backstage. Can we keep this above a 50% overall rating? That wasn't a bad match. 51. Just barely, as it turns out. Anthony Bartlett and Little Nate didn't click in their match, maybe due to their mismatched skills, causing their styles not to gel. Maybe. Fast Eddie would like to work with Jeremy V. I think I would be. He thinks I'd be impressed with the results. "51 people? Huh. 51 people. 60 people, bitches." Oh yeah, so let me double check this. Next. Fast Eddie, Jeremy V. Hey, it's a rivalry that doesn't include guys that I no longer have access to. That certainly earns it some credit. Alright, let's delete all that mail. Nothing new going on. TNA was on pay-per-view, that was fun. Wow. This money is going to go back down because not all of our expenses are tabulated yet. But we're coming perilously close to not being in debt anymore, guys. It's a big deal. What's the big news of the month of June? Noah have announced this year's roster of touring workers. Chesley is retired. Vinny Sanchez is retired. Ahmed Johnson, we were just talking about him. He was the guy that the Nation of Domination kept trying to beat up, basically. A-Train has left WWE. Akimon, again, been in rehab for months now, and each month he's in rehab, he asks for more money. Dunn wants more money. Alright. Leathering. Stanley Guitars have ended their sponsorship deal with NEPW. Pets Postal Service have ended theirs. Okay, a bunch of a new promotion, Diamond Dust Wrestling. Alright, let's see what the hell Diamond Dust Wrestling is. It's a regional fed. We don't know who is in charge of it yet. Do we know what our rep is yet? We're 92, folks. We're getting there. We're getting there big time. Doing very well. We've been gaining a public image. We're making money. We are on the phone. We're making demands. Making the big moves. Oh, I was going to check out sponsors. That's what I was going to do before I sign things off here. Alright, again, I feel like everybody is going to be under contract to someone, possibly us. You know what would be great is if in 2 months we could manage to make the leap up to small level and we would be able to get a new sponsor. I don't know that that will happen, but if we're getting close, it might be worth considering not hanging on to them. Yeah, we'll work on it. We'll figure it out. That's all a job for next time, though, folks. For right now, this is Bobo the Vulture. This has been Let's Play Extreme Warfare Revenge. I want to thank you all very much for watching. And, well, let's take a look at what Sophie thinks here. Keep developing the feud. Alright, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.